Hello and welcome back, all you lovely readers and writers out there. Now, today I thought that we would go on with our Writers at Work series, or the Paris Review reviewed, if you will, and we will going to check Ernest Hemingway, since apparently he is a favorite of mine and I have been quoting him very often. Now, in the interview, he says many things that we have already seen throughout several videos. So there is the ritualistic aspect of writing. Hemingway chooses to write in the morning as he feels that cool or cold breeze and there is no one to disturb him and he can work at his leisure. Then you have the fact that we have also seen, which is how he perceives inspiration. So it's always writing to a point where then you have to stop. And that way, the following day, you have the inspiration that is renewed. He gives it in the imagery of a well that replenishes itself. And he says, and I quote, "Nothing can hurt you, nothing can happen, nothing means anything until the next day when you do it again." So it is almost an ecstatic feeling on which he works on, right? Constantly. And also, another point that he does make during the interview is something that we have already seen yet again, which is loneliness. And he says that the further you go in writing, the more alone you are. And I did mention this in his Nobel acceptance speech, so there is this dimension of solitude with him. Now, he does from time to time make either jokes or he jests with his answers. Because, for instance, when he is asked how does he give the characters their names, he simply replies, "The best I can." So you have this dualistic personality of a jester and yet someone who feels loneliness. And this brings me to the topic that I want to analyze for today, which is appreciation. Now, why is it that I quote Hemingway so often? Is it because I like his books? Well, not exactly. You see, I do not like the books he wrote. He wrote about wars. So, for instance, A Farewell to Arms and For Whom the Bell Tolls, I have read them and I do not appreciate them to that much of an extent. And also, I must admit that most of my appreciation for The Old Man and the Sea comes from the way that I've read it, because I first read the book and soon after that, I've read the book in like 2 hours flat, and right after that, I watched the cinematographic interpretation with Spencer Tracy, which I believe enriched my experience also of the book. And obviously, something that I have already mentioned is A Movable Feast. And that is one of the best pieces of writing that I've read from Hemingway up until this point. So why is it that I quote him so much? Well, there are many different factors, right? And many shades of those factors. And most of my appreciation comes from something that I would say it's close to an empathy that I feel towards him, because he, just as we have seen before, right? Like, how do you name your characters? The best I can. He jests about things and he takes life easily. And yet we are speaking about someone who committed suicide, probably from that lonely feeling that he felt, that loneliness, right? And I do have this sympathetic appreciation for some of the things he said. It is not easy to explain. It's not just one single thing, it's not just one single piece of writing. It's a combination of the character that I imagine Hemingway was, because obviously I didn't even read his biography. I do not know what he felt or think. I just know him from his words. And that brought me to the appreciation I have of him today. Now, that is the topic for today. Please let me know in the comments down below whether you think that that is a good observation or if you disagree entirely, or even why you appreciate other writers. So the reasoning behind your appreciation or your empathy. That's been all for today. Don't forget to breathe, don't forget to smile. Until next time.